But yeah, no one asked, but I'll say it. Like Trump is doing what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to create more American jobs. He said that he was going to force Americans to have to do work within their own country, and even force, maybe even as a result, it would force other countries to do the exact same thing. And Trump is doing exactly what he promised. You guys voted for him. Um, so yeah, I voted for him the first time, not the second time, but um, he's doing what he promised. With these tariffs, these territory differentials, um, it's going to force Americans to do business with Americans. It's going to force more people to get hired in other countries to save money. They're going to have to like make a factory in every country and then distribute to that country. So that's going to lead to more people in individual countries getting hired, and it's going to lead to, in this case, in my case for now, Americans having to do business with other American people just to save money. um for the last like 10, actually for the last over 10 years, every time you watch a movie, they're always in some other country. Every time, all these actors that you're seeing these days, all these new actors that have been popping up for literally about the last 15 years or so, 99% of them, but an average of 100%, everybody expects them to be from some other country. They're usually not even American. Even if they're playing American people, even if they're supposed to be, American people, they're usually from some other country that's not America. And they're usually filming in some other country that's not America. Everyone, when you're going to a movie these days, you're like, what country are they going to be in? What country are the actors from? It used to be one point in time where you would just assume that, of course, they're filming somewhere in America. Of course, the actors are American. And that expectation has not existed for the longest time. So Trump is doing what he said with these territory differentials. Um, it's going to force people to do business in America, and they're going to have to employ American people. When companies want to expand, it would be much cheaper for them to take a representative, a CEO, and it's going to make CEOs way more common. Let them know that they're common folk. But they're going to have to take a lot more CEOs and supervisors, but usually people trust things like that to CEOs. Companies are going to have to hire their own CEOs almost per country with their plans, their recipes, their, schematics. And they're going to have to they're going to have to send them to other countries, and they're usually most likely going to be from that country that they're going to. And then they're gonna have to open up a factory, and they're gonna have to distribute to people just to save so much money. And of course, it will take someone that has a business brain to be used to making um, strong and tough decisions like that, and to make business moves like that, but involving a country. So Trump's doing what he said. He said he's going to make the hard decisions. He said he was going to make the decisions that people don't have the heart to make, because they're just so focused on keeping those little tiny relationships with people that also don't understand business, and people that are also, because they don't understand how real life works and how business works, they're so focused on keeping those little tiny relationships that really aren't leading to um, business success. That's why they're not where Trump is. You know, that's why they don't have so many businesses. Like, Trump has like 16 businesses, and guess what? They're all successful. Every last one of his businesses are successful. Every last one of his businesses pulls in thousands of dollars by the hour, even by the minute. But yeah, by the hour. Oh gosh, I just found this acne on my back. Trying to pop it. But yeah. So Trump is doing everything that he promised. You guys voted for him, and some people voted for him not only the first time, but they also voted for him the second time. I don't appreciate him stopping the programs just to recalibrate. Um, I definitely got screwed by that every single time. Um, um, also, I would say don't trust these numbers because they have brought like the wave of people that they've been allowing, like foreigners, to come into this country has been huge. So when they say this is getting better and that's getting better, it's not getting, I mean, it's definitely better, but it's not amazing. It's not smile worthy. Those numbers are inflated because they're bringing people from other countries. Um, and then how they're changing these numbers. They're bringing people from other countries, but also some people, like um, if you look like me, you would instantly be counted as a black person, especially once you become a citizen. They instantly put us into the same group, even if we're not the same. They're calling African people like black people, like black people is only American, okay? There's a past, there's a history, and there's a genetic background. Black people is only American. It's not anywhere else. It's not England. It's not Africa. It's not Jamaica. It's not all of that stuff. So, but looking very similar. But no, it's not any of that. But it doesn't matter because the numbers will always say that we're the same group because we look similar. Um, and maybe even from the same background, they will keep counting us as the same thing. So the numbers are not amazing, but they're just way better than in the past. Um, but I think if they like basically if they sent them back, they would see numbers that weren't nearly as good as you thought they were. The truth, really. But yeah, Trump is doing what he said, and with these tariffs, 100% raise uh, on movies. So, like I said, that's going to when they film a movie in another country, they're gonna have to pay double whatever the movie cost. 100% raise means they have to pay two times. So, if they really want that movie in another country, they're gonna have to pay double when they want to bring it to America. Wow, that's a lot. So, and we all know like it's probably not that serious, especially with how like Americans are going to the movies and stuff like that. Actually, the returns on these movies, it's not worth them going to another country, having to pay all these fees to film there, and then when they want to bring it back to America, pay double the price. It's not worth all that. So what are they going to do? They're going to do business in America. They're going to do business in their individual countries because it's a lot cheaper. They'd be saving, depending on how big the company is, they'd be saving like at least $1 million or more. If they're not a huge company, then they'll be saving, you know, about $500,000 still. So why not? There are so many people that have gone for acting. Like I just went and did an audition. Um, and they instantly sent me to bullshitters, like just completely wasting my time. I went for a modeling thing, and they're so inflated. They're so used to having just a rush of females, and in my case females coming in. They're just so used to having just so much business because they're doing business in other countries. They literally, with a straight face, so the fee to participate in our fashion show, I'm the model. What are you talking about? Like I'm the talent. I'm the look. I'm the one that makes the clothes look good. But the fee to get into this is $400. And said that with a straight face. Like, and you're nobody. And you're nobody. We're not talking about Victoria's Secret here. Um, and those models are still paying, $500 to be in their show. I'm serious. They're still paying just $500. Well, at one point in time, but still in recent times, they're just paying $500 to take part in those shows. And obviously, bigger models where now they see their value, they're paying, you know, less or in none in some cases. And this is a brand that nobody knows about, and I'm the one who's going to make this brand look good so people want to buy it. Like, you should be paying me, you know. Now you're seeing me when I'm sitting around, people dye their hair, color, even though it's supposed to be permanent color, it's washed out. So you're like, you? Yes, me, okay. I wear makeup very well and I look good in clothes very, very well. So yeah, you should be paying me. Or at least like if it was like $100, something that was realistic. Like, I'm getting my stuff together. I'm sewing pieces. I'm making like advertisement, and I'm just making stuff. And I know that when I want to do a fashion show, me being realistic, nobody's gonna pay me to participate in my show. Okay, nobody's gonna pay me to participate in my show. I'm gonna try. Since apparently this is how they do things, I'll try. You know, But ultimately, when I want people to really come to my show or whatever, 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 I know I'm going to be the one paying. So why do you think I pay you $400? And you're a nobody brand that nobody knows. Nah. Like, I don't even want you. You don't have to pay me. Like, I just want to walk in a show. I just want to whatever, whatever. I just want to participate. You don't even have to pay me. I just want to participate. So it is what it is. But the point is that these tariffs are going to force, in this case, it's going to force Americans to do business in America with Americans, which is good if you're an American person. Ah, 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 my thumb. But anyway, yeah, it's gonna force Americans to do American business, which is good for people. Um, Yeah, and it took Trump to do it. Businesses, they're so thirsty. They're so hungry and they're just never full. You went from paying people to walk in your shows, paying people to do business with you, to now being at some point where people are now giving you money to participate in your stuff, and you still can't lower the price. You still can't be realistic. You still can't, read your audience, your buyers, your sales. Like, pay attention, okay, and move accordingly. Trump didn't get here by, I mean, he got there by being unrealistic, but he also got there. Oh my gosh, I said that wrong. He didn't get there by being unrealistic. I mean, he was a little bit unrealistic because, you want growth and stuff like that, but you also have to be realistic too. If you want success, you have to do both. And none of them were willing. All of them are just so thirsty. They're not willing to make the damn choice to think about the future, think about where they live, think about their people, not just their relationships, um, that only pan out when the little guy shells out, you know, you know? So it took Trump to do it, and it sucks that people have to always be forced to make decisions that they should have already been making, right? But yeah, Trump made the decision that you couldn't make, that you would not make. That $400 when you're trying to act like you're such a big company, and I'm so, but you're crying over, but you're trying to force people to pay, like, you know. Like, for me, if it's $500, if it's freaking $500 or more, I say like almost $1,000, and $400 is like really good. My finances right now, it's like basically like $500. So you want people to pay almost $1,000 to participate, and you're gonna say that like it's realistic? Come on. Like, I'll just be in the show, and when I'm famous in the future, then you can just be like, hey, thanks for like bringing us up, because You were right, girl. You were wearing that. You were doing it. Like, yeah. I told ya. I'm just not giving you $1,000. But whatever. All right. So I agree with Trump's what he's doing. It's going to be good for America and American people. Um, it's going to be great for individual countries' economies. Other countries like Asia, I know Asia's not a country, but Asia was already doing that in terms of toward America. Remember, like when you used to order from AliExpress or Wish, and you would order stuff and it would come from Asia, and there'd be like an extra $5 or $10 tacked onto the price when you went to pay. You were like, what the heck is going on? That's the tariffs. That's the tariffs, the territory differential. And you had to pay that. Trump is just now doing that. Every country has their own fees, their own prices if you want to do stuff in their business, and also conversions and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, it's very normal. Like America's not, the bad guy that's just coming up with all this stuff. Like every country does it. Every single country does it. If you want to become a citizen of any other country, it's not free. They make you pay. They do. Um, every country has programs for foreigners, but we already know that America does the most. But in some terms, and sometimes they don't. Like Finland's been looking like really cool for a while for like some people because they give you like a freaking free apartment for like 3 years. But now that people know about it or whatever, they're gonna stop doing that, and I hate that shit to death. Um, it's like, do you want people to move here or not? Like, this is my question phase, and it hurts making that phase. So anyway, yeah, but that's stopping um American benefits, the little that you do get, for a total of freaking 9 months, a total of 9 months. Just to recalibrate numbers, you could have looked at all of those numbers and not stopped anything. You were supposed to be looking at those numbers when COVID was going on. So, what the hell? You were supposed to already been looking at those numbers a long time ago. It's not like they didn't change. I mean, they changed, but it only changed because you let a whole bunch of people from other countries come here instead of telling them the truth that there's just no room, that you just have to go back to your country and make it better. If you want to live in America, you can make America in your country. I also don't agree with paying them any money to go back, because all you have to do is just be honest that there's no space in America. There's just nothing in America. But again, in their case, it's good to do that because 1,000 American dollars back in their country, regardless of the country that they go back to, 1,000 American dollars is not $1,000 back in their country. Besides Canada, $1,000, it's not $1,000 when they go back to their country. For some people, if they're from Laos, if they're from Thailand, if they're from Asia, the Philippines, if they're from Mexico, Spain, if they're from, you know what I mean, if they're from countries that have those extreme differences like that, 1,000 American dollars, we're talking about $10,000. We're talking about $1 million. We're talking about, $1 billion. I'm saying dollars, but their country dollars. That's what we're talking about. So it's really good for them. So far, it's not being offered to people just from Mexico, because again, that thing of them looking very similar and people not knowing, it's not just people from Mexico. It's people from Mexico. It's people from Nicaragua. It's people from all of those areas. Not every country, but Mexico, Spain, Brazil, um, Portugal, places like that, which is like, what's that shit about? Like if you're from any other country that doesn't speak some variation of Spanish, you're like, well, what's that shit about though? And you should be really. But yeah, all right.